Good afternoon, Bravehearts all around the world, and I do mean all around the world. We have millions of viewers now, and I'm going to tell you, I appreciate all of those people that follow us for our information, but don't follow us. You need to follow yourself. You need to discover yourself. You need to find your authentic self, and that's what DocStar TV is all about. We're going to be coming out with what's called a Braveheart Nation app. That's only 5 months away. In this app, we are going to be providing things that nobody's ever gotten before. This is going to be the most powerful, and I can say it because it is, it'll be the most powerful platform for self-care and self-love in the world. You'll be able to get to it from any computer, any phone, and that's right, it's called the Braveheart Nation app. Okay, and this app was built for everyone, for us to come together as a Braveheart Nation. I want to thank everybody for coming on the show today. This is called Powerpack Healing, and the reason why it's called that is, what if you took a device, okay, that could give somebody, and I mean could give somebody perfect circulation? How would their health be? I think you know. If you had perfect circulation and you had perfect health, that's called the cardio med bed. And we're not here to talk about the cardio med bed today, but if you want more information on how to get treatments or to get trained and start your own Powerpack Healing Clinic, please go to BHN, that stands for Braveheart Nation. That's BHN, okay, powerpack.com. BHNpowerpack.com. And you want to check it out because we've got the cardio med bed there. We've got also the Cellsonic, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But just know this, we're the only people in the world that when you buy two of the most powerful energy medicine devices, we throw in a complete New World practitioner training with both of those devices, okay? Now, what is a Cellsonic? Well, let's put it this way. How would you like to have 25,000 volts put into a field, love harmonic, because you know what a field is? Well, that some people call it energy, some people call it aura, some people will call it spirit. You call it whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you something. We've got the spirit thunder when we're using an actual Cellsonic. That's 25,000 volts, and people will say, yes, but Dr. Wolf, is that like a Rife machine? And I'll say, well, guess what? How would you like to have all of the different frequencies on all levels in one pulse? Now, I want you to try to think about that. There's no dialing in this condition, this symptom. There's just turning this device on. And being the most powerful energy medicine device in the world, it's the most simple to use. It takes honestly, about 10, 15 minutes to actually know how to use it. And then, it'll take you a while to become friends with it, but anybody can use it. It's very powerful. And understand this. People will say, well, Dr. Wolf, have you heard of this? Have you heard of that? Like there's Rife, there's PEMF, there's so many devices, but there's no device out there that will shut down stage 4 inflammation like this. There's no device out there that will actually take displaced calcium and fracture it so that it creates calcium ions to carry the displaced calcium that was pulled from your bones to take it back into your bones. There's no device out there that will take beef jerky, which is scar tissue, which is in organs and tendons and ligaments and muscles, okay, and actually bring back what? The pulse of life. Let me tell you something. How many people out there know that it only takes one, are you ready for this? One AA battery of electricity to run the whole body. Now we're going to take 25,000 volts and we're going to put that into a field, and then we're going to put that, and it's going to go all the way down to your mitochondria, which are the powerhouse of your cells. And everybody should be hearing about those like all the time now, because they are the cause of every illness that you have, no matter where it is in the body. It is the mitochondrial damage being calcified and being inflamed long enough and strong enough that guess what? Everything's electricity. How much electricity does a sick person have? Not much. What if we could give them more? What if we could pump more into their body? You know how long it would take if we tried to do that for them eating and drinking the way most people do it, and then they don't do it right? So what we try to do and what we teach here in Powerpack Healing is that you don't want to take supplements. You want to take high vibrational nutrition that has the highest frequency, highest vibration in it. And you want to use the most powerful energy medicine devices because we need to. Okay, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that people aren't sicker now more today than in the whole history of the go around in this planet. You can't do that. You can't tell because they are. The reality is right now we've got what? Well, we've got 85% of the population obese or overweight. We got 50% of the population that get heart disease, 50% of the population that get cancer, 85% of the population is pre-diabetic. 30% of all teenagers have an inflamed liver. 20% of all teenagers are pre-diabetic, and 20% of all children are pre-diabetic as well. 1 out of every 4 children have a chronic illness right now. So the reality is this, you got to bring the thunder down. So we're not just going to try to give you the most powerful therapy. We're going to try to create a perfect day for you. What if you knew how to actually master your mind? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? You know what? Everybody's running programs, but they're not programs that they decided they wanted to run. And so what we want to do is on DocStar TV, which this is called, is we want to teach you that it's time that you started picking your own program. It's time that you started learning that if you don't pay attention to this beautiful vessel here, this beautiful gift, it's not going to be here. What do you think, Andrew?
You're right in every way. And I'm just hoping that people aren't scared when you talk about 25,000 volts. Because the body cells, that's what's inside us, of all types of cells. I was reading something about the brain has got far more cells than they'd originally counted. Now, think of these cells as a little battery. So from inside the battery, across the membrane to the outside of the battery, the voltage in a defective cell is 10 millivolts. And it should be 75 millivolts. They're tiny volts, really tiny. So the 25,000 volts the cell sonic kicks out is only for a billionth of a second. And it stops. It'll start again a quarter of a second later and kick out another billionth of a second. And we've got people who've had machines for years. And they said, we've used this for a long time. I said, you've not even used it yet for 1 second. You add up all those billions of treatments. It doesn't add up to more than a second. So the blast that comes out from the cell sonic is so short in duration. It's more like a kick. And that lifts the voltage up to where it needs to be. What you were talking about, Darren, about the love yourself, the emotional trauma that everybody's suffering these days because they've got smartphones glued to their hands, telling them everything that's wrong and where they've failed and so forth. That is the cause of a lot of the trouble. Life's so short, you haven't time to cook properly, get the right vegetables and fruits, so they're all on the wrong food. That's half the problem. The cell sonic will put it right. The person themselves has to correct the rest of it. And it's not just the food, and it's relationships. When I analyze where we have had failures, and that's how we've learned from the failures, a lot of it boils down to that person being trapped in a relationship. And if we can see this coming, I'm now saying what they have to do. No, well, we can't see. And the other guests on the show will tell me their experiences. Can you say to somebody who you know has got a spouse, daughter, son even, that they disagree with, kick them out? It's not that easy. But if you don't sort that out, those anxieties will remain. So the sum of all this, Carol, is the machine will do half the job. It will do the voltage bit, it will do all the correction. The mind, which controls the voltage, is down to the person themselves and the people they're surrounded by. Think of it this way. The brain is the hardware. The mind is the software. And if the wrong program is running in the brain, in the computer, that person can never be healthy. They have to get the right program.
So the cell sonic, like everything in life, It's like a switch. Frequency turns illness on. It can turn illness off. It can turn health on, turn health off. How many people get turned on and turned off every day because they're not mastering their own emotions? And what we know is the cell sonic can shut down the worst type of inflammation, the worst type of chronic illness, but it will only stay there because you're also responsible in holding a vibration that will keep it in check.
Yeah, that's right. The cell sonic, the users of the cell sonic are trained in the diagnostics, which can be applied there and then. And they do not end the treatment until they know they've made the correction. So it's reasonable to claim 100% correction, halting, putting it right, 100%. If that person comes back 2 weeks later and they're not right, it's not that the machine failed. We now know a bit more about that person. We know that they've been worried, continue to be worried. And I say to many of them, what was going on 10, 15 years ago? And their eyes roll, and you know then that they remember it and still are remembering. That's the trouble. If we had a machine to erase memories, that would be wonderful. On the computer, I can press delete. You're doing it with yours. And, oh, crikey, I've lost that file. You can't do that in the mind. What some people are succeeding to do, I'm told, is that the memory that person holds has to be seen in a brighter light. It wasn't as bad as you're remembering it. That might be one way of going about it. But look, you'd expect me as the manufacturer of these machines to say, it'll do everything. The truth is, it will do half. You can't do our half any other way. You can bring a person in all worried and you can get their emotions sorted out, but without that kick of the cell sonic to correct the voltage, you can't do it. So you've got to have the cell sonic. That's got to do half. The rest of it is the verbal skill of our users. And we're going to see some of them in this broadcast now. And it can't be done by drugs. I must repeat that. An antidepressant works. Well, it doesn't work.
Well, it doesn't work.
An antidepressant shuts off half the brain and causes damage. And the doctor who's prescribed it said, oh, no, you're not affected by the worries. And the person is probably permanently damaged in the brain. Yeah, they can't suffer, but they can't enjoy either. So the brain is closed down. You can't do it by surgery, obviously. I mean, if anybody says, oh, we'll open the brain and we'll pick out the bit that's faulty, that person's nuts. No, it's conversation with empathetic people. And I'll go even further now. A lot of people in white coats are not the people to use a cell sonic. It's ordinary people who've probably, and I know this for a fact, been through troubles themselves.
I think you mean extraordinary people. Isn't that what you guys would like to be called?
Absolutely.
They are, but we're not going to make them sound weird and exceptional. They're good, honest, empathetic, sympathetic people. Daryl, let's meet some of them.
Well, yeah, but first, I'd like to know, when did you come up with the cell sonic, and how long has that been now? 20 years?
No, it's more than that. I first encountered this with a Swiss company, HMT, High Medical Technologies, AG. The AG is like limited. And I have to admit, and in way be proud of the fact, I'm not a doctor. I have no medical training. I'm self-taught. And from what I can gather, so was Einstein. There's no university you can go to in the world.
Yeah, he failed science. He failed science. Did you fail science? Because he failed science.
What science?
Einstein failed science in high school. Did you fail it?
I did maths and physics and chemistry and all that sort of thing.
But did you fail any of them?
No, I've got an honours degree. But look, the point is, these people who've got the qualifications are brainwashed. Their education has put that information into them, and the white coats believe in their own ability. They think they know everything. They don't. They only know biochemistry. And biochemistry's only got three products. It's got vaccines, it's got antibiotics and anesthetics, which leads to more surgery than is necessary. But that's all. And everything else put out by pharmaceuticals actually doesn't work. Everything else in chronic disease, you see, the biochemistry will work on acute disease. If you've got bitten by a dog or whatever, you need an antibiotic. And that's fine. Now, we can kill infections with the cell-sonic, but if they're everywhere in the body, it's actually easier to just zap that little bit where the dog bite was or something. Now, the biophysics is to do with the electrical properties of the body. And drugs cannot do that. You know that. That's why it's chronic. Chronic means just going on and on forever. There should never be chronic disease. There's only chronic disease. Rockefeller medicine. Because the history of pharmacy, just listeners, search on Rockefeller medicine.
Well, they can go to the library, and if they go to my library, they just have to go and read the Rockefeller report. And it's actually, this was it's about a 15-minute document that it'll take them to read that talks about how they're going to poison us all and hold us all captive and slaves for eternity. But go to my library, everybody, and you'll see that and Medical Mafia. It'll give you the whole story.
Yeah, and we've got to be grateful to them. They've actually created a market in which we're doing well.
Yeah, well, it would be better if everybody became their own practitioner. Then we could be put out of business, and that's where we need to be. Kathy, do you want to start with your story?
What, Darryl?
I was saying, shall we have Kathy start with her story, Dr. Haig?
Yes, bring Kathy in. And then Shalou, because these two ladies are close together. Look, say where you are, say how you work together. Because I have customers saying, oh, we've already got a machine in our city. As though that's a problem. One machine actually can only serve a population of about 30,000. That's how much demand there is amongst the population for our services. Kathy, tell us all about yourself, please.
Hi there, I'm Kathy Edward. I'm from Barrie, Ontario. Shalou and I are good friends that we've just found each other in the last number of years and been on this health journey, and we just seem to really mesh together well in our thought processes and just lovely in this journey together. So we just this weekend, we took our Cellsonics on a road trip with our husbands, and we went from our hometown in Barrie, Ontario, and we traveled to Montreal. So on the way, we stopped off in the Ottawa area, went to Montreal, and started treating Thursday evening all the way until Sunday evening. And it was just boom, boom, boom. There was so many people that we saw and treated, and a multitude of treatments applied. I don't have a medical background of any sort, but we have the healing thoughts and processes for the natural processes, and we're not white coats and whatnot. And there's a time and a place for them because we need them. But there's a lot of processes that, as you said before, we can be empathetic and try and help people through this. I just want to give you a touch on the services that I helped people through this weekend was arms and shoulders, rotator cuffs. A big one was spine and SI joints and the sacrum area. I got to tell you about this one situation that I helped. This one lady had 3 raised bumps at the top. Her sacrum was just raised with crystallization. And the first 200 or 300 pulses gave her some relief, but I recommended a bit more to her, and she hemmed and hawed, and she says, yeah, okay, go for it. She got a total of 800 pulses just on her sacrum area in those raised bumps, along with doing her spine with other pulses. But it was just amazing. The bumps had greatly diminished. And by the time the whole treatment was over, everything, she got up and she felt immediate relief. Was able to move and bend over, and it was a wonderful experience just seeing that. few days earlier, I had treated kidneys and bladder and lungs and knees, but also scar tissue on the surface. So visible results being seen right away. But you're absolutely right, Andrew. I resonated with what you said because I've heard it before and I heard it throughout the weekend. Food for thought. The emotional creates the physical. I was able to do mini consultations just before a few of these treatments. And I had people even say to me after the fact, one was on a Saturday afternoon, so Sunday morning, I heard from a lady that said, "You're absolutely right. I walked away feeling effects, but the next morning I felt even better because that night I just changed my thought processes." And it helped because the pulses, it just resonated. It stays with you for quite some time. And she just felt so much better with her whole thought process being changed and recognizing that as well.
Yeah.
So those are the...
You mentioned, in effect, treating the lady's spine. And what was happening was neurons were being put into the brain. The route into the brain is through the spinal cord. Mm-hmm. And the neurons are the building blocks of the brain material. That might be an oversimplification, but everybody's now doing it, even if they come in for toenail fungus or something quite straightforward. They get a spine treatment, and they always feel better.
Wow, yeah.
So that's a good tip.
Seeing that the spinal fluid carries more information, more communication, more light than any other fluid in the body. When you work on the spine, you help to decalcify the spine where the calcium's been displaced and the scar tissue that wraps around the spinal column. So the more flow you have, okay, all that information goes to the brain, talks to the brain then gets the hormones, the chemicals together to send it back through the rest of the body to make everything just be working the way it should. Kathy?
Brilliant. Shalou, you were with Kathy on that expedition to Montreal, the world's largest French-speaking city. Not in France either. What happened? How did you see it, Shalou?
Oh, it was amazing. We couldn't believe, like, Kathy and I were in the same building, 2 separate rooms, and both machines were going. So, you said people go, "Oh, well, I already have one in my city." Well, we were in the same city, same building, just separate rooms, and we were both busy. And so much so that they asked us to come back. They're like, "When are you coming back?" So we're planning another road trip sometime in November. For me, the exciting thing was one of the places where we were was he's a bodybuilder. So he's been in the Mr. Universe pageants. And it was really interesting as to how much, they build their bodies, but they've really broken down a lot of muscle. Like, they build the muscles, but they've broken down the body. And the main person, the owner himself, he took 3,000 pulses because we did his spine, and he's like, "And I want my lungs done." So we did the whole rib cage from the back, and we did the spine, and then he did it back-to-back days. So the second day, he's like, "Nope, let's do it all over again, the same part." And he could not believe how much more he felt. So the first day, he could feel the pulses, right? But the second day, he felt it so much deeper. And he was like, "Wow, like, this machine is amazing." And it was to the point, we treated, his wife, his 2 boys, his sister, and then he called, one of his friends. And then the boys were like people that were in the gym just working out. They were like, you got to go right now. These girls aren't coming back. You got to go up and you got to get this treatment. And a young man came up that he had dislocated his shoulder 5 times. And so every time that he's trying to lift these weights, he just, mobility's not there, the strength is not there. And so I did a little bit of non-surgical first to map out the area,
Very
to
good.
sort of feel, okay, where should I be doing the pulses? And when I, after the mapping, I told him, I said, "Look, you're going to need to do the whole back over to the front because he had issues right here in the collarbone as well. And then I said, and then I'm going to get you to lie down and we're going to do underneath. And it took about 1,000 pulses. But after he got up and I told him, I said, I showed him how to do the crab stretch. I said, you need to continue doing this so that you've got the blood flow going to the area, right? And he went to do the crab stretch and he was blown away. Because, I mean, right away he got up and he was moving his arm in certain ways and he goes, oh, that doesn't hurt anymore.
The crab stretch, are they opening their arms out?
No, that's when you're on the ground with your hands behind and your feet like you're sitting on the ground. Pretend you're sunning at the beach, right? But you've got your fingers pointing to your feet, towards your feet, and then you lift up your hips and bring them closer to your feet.
All right.
If you go to the do-it-yourself guide in the library at docofdetox.com, you'll find everything from nebulizing to clapping to belly button to vaginal infusion to the crab stretch to pelvic squats. Okay, and if you end up getting a perfect day consult, anyone, you get a 400-page manual that has all of this in it. Okay, go ahead, Shalou.
Yeah, so like as he's doing it, he could not believe, like he was absolutely blown away, and it was just coincidental. He goes, oh, I have to come to Barrie, and I said, well, come. Between my Cellsonic and the cardiac med bed, you're going to get like the Powerpack treatment. You're going to feel even better. So yeah, it was really amazing to see that. But I think the most impacting person that I worked on was a gentleman that was having a really hard time even breathing. You know, to walk from the car into the space, he would walk a few steps and he would sit, and he was just like, I need time. And so we just, because we were at back-to-back people, the two boys said, here, come sit in a chair, and they literally carried him in the chair. And so, you also mentioned the emotional aspect of things. And so for the first little bit, we just talked and we had a whole conversation of, well, what's going on here? What do you believe is causing all this disease in your body? Why are you punishing yourself? Because everything that's showing up it's what we're eating, what we're drinking, and what we're thinking. So why aren't you eating better? Why aren't you drinking better? Why aren't you thinking better, right? Why is it that you're not at ease at all? And, it took a good while, and I literally had to have him do, the mirror work without the mirror. We just had him close his eyes and talk and do the affirmations. And you could see in his face some of the things that he was saying. It was hard, like his lips would kind of purse just a little differently. And then eventually, tears started to flow. And once we had that breakthrough, I'm like, okay, now let's see what we can do. And we did the Cellsonic on him. And would you believe at the end of the treatment, he walked all the way to his car, which was probably about 500 meters or more away, right? And just his wife holding his hand. That's it. Like she was just holding him. Like they were just holding hands, and he walked all the way. And the two boys that had carried him in could not believe. They're like, what just happened here? Like, what just happened? So, we've seen many amazing things, many amazing breakthroughs. Another lady, she came in with her husband. She was just sitting there watching. And, after I was done, he's like, well, she can't even walk. Like, she'll walk a few steps and then her legs hurt and she sits down and we can't even take a walk. So I said to her, I said, come on, let's check you out, right? So she laid down. I did, again, just the mapping of her calves to see, right? I'm like, where's the pain? And she goes, oh, it's in my calves. So I mapped out, sort of felt her calves, and the crystallization in her calf muscles was just unbelievable. So for a few minutes, I got it so that we open up and let the blood flow come in. As I saw a little bit of color, okay, we got the blood moving. I did 200 pulses on each calf. And where her calves were like hard before, by the time we were done, I'm like, feel it. They were nice and soft. And she got up and she couldn't even believe how good she felt. She goes, that's amazing. So I said, well, you know what? Now go on a walk with your husband. He wants to walk with you, and then let me know how it goes, you know. So it's really mind-boggling that in just such a short time, the results we can get with this machine. Honestly, you have to see it, you have to experience it to really believe it.
And there's no drugs involved, and no surgery.
Drugs.
And then that man who could hardly breathe, what was it altogether? 30 minutes, most of which was talking rather than zapping with the machine.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was probably 30 minutes of talking.
Yeah.
Or more, 30 to 40 minutes we just talked. Because the machine part was hardly
that was medicine. But let me take you back to these muscle men. And Daryl, you like this, because neither you nor I are what we would call muscle men.
Hey, watch it.
So
You better talk about yourself, will you? Gosh.
That's why you put the shirt on, to hide the muscles, I know. Look, it's vanity. Why are they wanting to develop those big muscles? And I go cycling a lot. I've been out on the bike today. I have muscles which work for the bicycle to get the pedals going. But I'm nothing for I'm not eye candy for the girls or anything like that. And that's not even of interest to me. So these men are injuring their joints with excessive weights. They're not even construction workers carrying bricks up the ladder to lay on build a new wall. It's vanity. And the same system, if you like, applies to the women. You've got to have big boobs. You've got to have a narrow waist. You've got to have long legs. If you're not complying to what's perceived, maybe in Hollywood, as the required appearance, you're a failure. And that's causing so much upset to so many people. So they're there pounding the weights every day in the gym and doing injury to themselves. Fine, the Cellsonic can help them survive those injuries. But I feel like saying to them, look, just come back a bit, lads. You're fine. Just get everything in moderation. But some of them are addicted. And I mean addiction in the way that we might talk about alcohol or drugs or gambling. They're addicted to this bodybuilding. And you're looking after them. Sorry, my little contribution to that one. Shall we go to the other side of the world? Dora.
Good morning from down under.
In Australia, lovely.
Yeah, this is
Are you finding much the same as in Canada? Are people the same at the other side of the world?
Look, they're the same everywhere else. And I'm Tora, and this is Kevin. And we were the Dynamic 2. Now we are the Dynamic 3 with our Cellsonic in the background.
So everybody's the same. Everybody's got the same anguish and the same illnesses resulting from it.
Exactly right.
Have you some interesting cases to report?
Yeah, we have some really interesting cases to report, and this aspect of really connecting people on a deep level. And over the last week, my passion is really to activate people and really create this healing from the inside out. And when people are introduced to the Cellsonic, and it's still very new in Australia, and we've had the Cellsonic for a very short time too, and I'm really in the Perfect Day consultation, we talk about everything that we eat, think, and drink plays such a vital part of our healing, the way we see the world, the way we show up in the world, and our level of health and vitality. And sort of people come and it's almost, wow, this is too good to be true. It doesn't hurt and you can't feel very much. But what I really encourage our clients to think about is that, we do one element where we raise the charge in the cell. We bring the frequency of the cell back to its healthy, vital state. And their job when they go home is to actually maintain that with their diet, with their the self-love, with the mirror work, with all the things that they do on a nutritional level. And then it's this, it's this permission. And if we realize on a deeper level, like our life, our experience of life, the way our body performs is really just a result of all the habits that we, repeat every single day. And that becomes so empowering.
And we have this, this tiny little machine, which really does this incredible work. And for me, it's allowed, to share the load very much. But, then in the physical experience, especially as a wolf non-surgical therapist, when you have sort of men coming that, are very much like Shalou mentioned, they do lots of bodybuilding, very much into their muscles, into their sort of, the front mirror kind of, that they look really beautiful and strong, but their bodies become very calcified and locked down. And what I've found very much this week is that, with the wolf non-surgical, lovingly taking apart the scar tissue and the calcification, and my experience, a specific experience very much in the sacrum, the SI joints and the hips, where it was, this gentleman could barely walk. And so I did some loving wolf non-surgical on him, and then some pulses with a salsonic, and immediately he realized he could really raise his legs, and he just had much more function to kick, and he was going to a martial arts class afterwards, and he was like, can I go straight away? And I said, absolutely, how do you feel? And it's giving this level of health and vitality and freedom. And, Kevin and I are so passionate. I'm in my 50th year. Kevin's just turned 60. And, we are sort of sure, we're still works in progress, but, we're definitely the healthiest and the most vital we've ever been. And then, when people saying, we're aging and we're getting, overweight and we're stiff and everything hurts, and that it's really a choice. And so this, incredible Salsonic machine gives us the toolkit to really activate, really the healing, the health of the cell and the vitality. And it's this beautiful teamwork of, us doing the thing on the front end, really finding out, what their goals, really how they want to live their life. And then, doing these incredible treatments, and then we send them home and they can do the rest. And we know that, this level of accountability are really the long-term habits and the choices that we make. And, we talk about creating the perfect day that lasts a lifetime, and then we can just tweak those and as different things come in. And then we get away from this victimitis, these people suffering. Life is beautiful. This body is an incredible experience. And if we learn to love, honor, and respect it from the minute we rise to when we close our eyes, and it's just magical. And I thank you so much, Andrew, for having created this incredible technology, because it's dream work, for the work that I've done for a long time, and the work that Kevin and I do together. And we just, really are able to, and it's like we said before, it's like flicking a switch. It's just magic.
There's a huge demand for these biophysics, which is doing what biochemistry cannot do. And all the work going on in laboratories, all the research and looking through microscopes is never going to find the answer. We've actually got the answer. Salsonic, as it happens, is whole of biophysics all in one package. And I confess we didn't actually set out to make it like that. We made what we thought was the right thing to do. And everybody's discovered it can do so much more. And the discoveries come about because they know there are no side effects. So they say, well, look, I'm not sure if it'll work, but let's try it. Because it won't harm if we do. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. So they try it. Hey, and it works. So we've added another one to the list. So that's the beautiful thing about it. It's safe. But what you were talking about with these, could you go off and do some more martial arts? We've got a clinic in England who put themselves out as only a pain clinic. They don't talk about anything else, just pain, which is pretty good because it's at the heart of medicine. If there was no pain, there'd be no demand for medicine. And they've got into the cage fighting markets. It sounds horrible to me. They put two men in a cage to pummel hell out of each other. But the one they're treating is the winner. I said, hang about. If he's the winner and he needs treatment, whatever happened to the loser? And I never got a proper answer to that. Oh, this comes back to the behavior of people, which is not according to the gospel of Andrew Haig. But people do it.
Everybody, if I could jump in.
We're covering the main points of this broadcast, because if you don't control me, my wanderings, I'll take you off in other directions.
Very good, Andrew. Listen, everybody, we've had a few more people jump on. We're talking about the Cell Sonic, everyone. If you want to learn more about it, you go to BHN, that stands for Braveheart Nation, BHN, okay, Powerpack. That's it, bhnpowerpack.com. And what it's about is, it's about a device that puts out 25,000 volts, but in a field harmonic. So what it's able to do is it's able to turn off the greatest of inflammation, to break up in a loving way, cause small fractures to displace calcium, because you never really lose your calcium. You'll lose the bone calcium. It'll be in your joints. It'll be in your organs. It'll be in your tendons, ligaments, muscles. Okay. All right. That's what those calcium deposits are in your gallbladder, your kidney, and even in your breast. And this is able to actually fracture that so it ionizes. So the calcium will go back into your bones, and it will create an electrical charge right down to the mitochondria, so it decalcifies the mitochondria, so they're able to spin again 2,500 times to make the ATP, to create the energy, to create a beautiful life, because you can't heal without energy, okay? You cannot heal without energy. You can't have a beautiful life without energy, and it's all about energy. So think about putting 25,000 volts in a love harmonic where it will pulse, but only 1/billionth of a second at that. So understand something. It goes in with all the power, but it comes out with all the love. And that's what we want out of a device. And this we've powered up with what we call a cardio med bed. And what we do is we do complete 23-day trainings where people learn about how to become whole life coach, Wolf non-surgical therapist. They get that free, a 23-day training whenever they buy a cardio med bed or a Cell Sonic. So we will do all the training. We will help you with everything. Understand something. Let's put it this way. So we've tried everything else, and we've never been sicker than in the whole history of humankind. And everybody keeps on doing the same thing. Well, what if we did something different? What if we actually did something different? And guess what? We will offer the first treatment, a money-back guarantee, that if we don't blow your mind and it's not worth it, we'll refund your money. Okay? We'll refund your consultation from us if you don't think that we've given you a perfect day consult, but we'll also give you lifetime support with every perfect day consult. We are a different practitioner. Understand, you can't just sell people products. You can't just treat them anymore. You've got to teach them how to have a perfect day from the moment they rise till they close their eyes, and they've got to become their own practitioners. Everybody must become their own practitioner. If you stay a patient, okay, you are going to get mistreated. Oh yeah, you'll go for your treatment and you'll only be good till the next treatment, or you'll only be good until the next test. Oh, I don't have cancer. Oh, my blood pressure, it's down again. You know, oh, well, sorry, we can't take you off the drugs. Well, you know why you can't get off the drugs? Because guess what? You're not on to loving and caring for yourself, and you don't know how. You're not stupid. You're not dumb. You're just programmed. And understand something. That's what this program's about. Okay? Dr. Haig, would you like to say something, and then we'll go around, and everybody, if you'd like to say something, and then we'll wrap it up?
A thought that you brought to my mind talking about whether they're on drugs or not. I'm 77. And if I get the time during the day, I'll ride between 50 to 70 miles a day on a Saturday if I'm let out. And I don't take any medicines at all, ever. And this is very surprising. If I get into conversation with people about this, they've always got something they've got to take. It's by their bedside at night. And I don't. And I don't think... There's one other couple I meet on my rides. They're from York. They're 83. And I said to this guy, I said, look, we are not exception. What's odd is that everybody else of our age are all croaking and creaking and failing. But we've kept exercising and just enjoying the countryside as we're cycling along. Not racing, cycle touring, not working too hard. And that's kept us going. And we enjoy looking at all the scenery as we're riding along. That is normal. What is not normal is sitting down all the time to work, to travel, and to eat. Darryl, pass the microphone to the other people.
All right.
Thank you for letting me contribute. What are you doing there?
Me, I'm trying to fix up the phones. Don't worry about me. Keep talking, everyone.
All right, you're reaching out to the world.
Doing the
Kathy
best I
and
can.
Sheldon, I look at you as a team because you're working there. Your contribution has been fantastic. Those stories of the bodybuilders and the guy with all the particles in his muscles. If he'd been exercising, he wouldn't have had that build-up. What do you call it when it's in the toes and they've been drinking too much? I forgot.
Gout.
Yes. We've always known that gout's easily dealt with by cell-sonic. And also frostbite and chilblains, which are ice particles that have gone into the extremities. So if you're going up Mount Everest or into the poles, take a cell-sonic with you and a big battery pack to keep it going. Kathy, who was talking? That was Charlotte. You were talking about the fighting people, the muscle building people. I don't know what these men are up to. You think it's only women who are vain? It's men just as bad. That doesn't do us any good.
I just want to make. Oh, sorry. Go, Charlotte.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make mention that you talk about your physical aura and whatnot. I had another really amazing experience this past weekend because it was a first for me, but I know that this happens all the time. But it's not just for our two-legged family and friends, it's for our four-legged precious family members. And I got the honor of treating my very first feline. This beautiful black cat was brought to me, and it was a first for me. But what I really was amazed at was not just the treatment process, calming the animal down. It came in, it was very skittish. But we also looked at the diet and what this cat was eating, so we got that all cleared up. But at the end of the treatment, the cat got exactly 950 pulses. It had what I would call a wart situation, and the owner, she was very concerned about this because a previous cat that she had passed away, supposedly from this situation. Maybe it was just more than warts, but to me it looked like warts. So we put 150 pulses on the first one, and then I thought, well, I'll just amp this up a little bit because we're not going to be back for a while. The rest of the 5 areas gave 200 pulses. Do you know something? At the end of that treatment, that beautiful feline, he was so calm, looking around, and Shalou was treating something in the other room, and at the end of it, she came into the room, knew what the cat was like coming in, didn't want to come out of its carry case and whatnot. At the end of the treatment, we were petting this beautiful cat. It was time to put him on the floor, to put him back in the cage, we thought, or the little carry-all. Thought we were going to get a bit of a hassle. He just walked right into that carry-all, turned around, sat down. Okay, I'm ready to go home. It was like he was just saying, oh, I feel so much better. It was amazing to watch because if you didn't witness that yourself, I mean, Shalou came in at that point there and says, what?
He was just purring. He was just sitting there. You didn't have to hold him. There was no trauma at all. This cat was just like, I'm so good, and just hanging out. It was amazing.
This is fantastic because I've had reports on horses. In fact, horses is where we started because there was more money in horses than humans. And dogs, but never a cat. And a cat really is so small as a creature compared to humans. And what was it? Nearly 1,000 shocks is a lot. If you think of a baby, would you give that to a baby, which might even actually in physical size be bigger than a cat? But the cat absorbed it and took it.
Yes.
Now,
Well, I don't know if you know this, Andrew, but Debbie, who's assisting Sage at the course here in Bonita with the non-surgical course, 6 weeks ago, she was told to put her dog down, okay, her little Shih Tzu, who's 10 pounds, and to put him down, and she's been cell-sonicking him, and she's put him on thunder shrooms, and she put him on black diamond and black gold, but she's been cell-sonicking him every day, and guess what? They said, he's got cancer all throughout his body. this little dog, you've got to put him down and understand he's up jumping around. He's living the life. So understand it's all about electricity. You know, the dimmer switch was being turned down on this little guy and she's put it right back up. Okay. Everything is frequency.
That's great. And we never do claim that we've done any animal testing. In fact, where the vet's saying quiet, I said, well, we tried it on humans first. Look, there's one further thought that you triggered, which is the intuitive. People who can read other people's minds, the medical intuitive. Now, I think you've all got this. I think what you were doing, Kathy, was intuitively relating to the mind of the cat. Now, you can't talk cat language. Yeah. It's not easy. But somehow
well, that's the letters of my name. That's the first 3 letters of my name, C-A-T.
Somebody planned that. I can see it's not by accident. It's quite... Yeah.
Kathy, do you want to give everybody where you live, your phone number, and your website and everything?
Yes, certainly. Okay, so my name is Kathy Edward. I live in Barrie, Ontario. My telephone number is 705-715-8716. And I can be reached at info@advancedhealing.ca. My website is just under production right now, so I will announce that later.
Well, you can give them the website name, and then when they go to try it and it actually works, they'll know it.
advancedhealing.ca.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shalou?
So my name's Shalou. I'm in Barrie, Ontario. And yes, I do have the Powerpack, the Cellsonic, and the Cardiac Med Bed. And my business is Lotus Life Health. And you can find me at lotuslife.health. And you can email me at shalou@lotuslife.health. Or you can call me 705-828-2257. I'd love to hear from you.
Beautiful. Tora?
Yes, I'm Tora, and you can call me on 041-399-3493 or email me on tora@tklifestylesolutions.com or www.dklifestylesolutions.com. And we are in the Coffs Harbour area, which is between Brisbane and Sydney. And we actually had a client drive down from Brisbane yesterday, so we're nicely located in the middle.
Beautiful. And how would you like to end this with them, my dear Professor Andrew Haig?
In awe, in admiration, in great thanks and all that. And I'm sure even greater thanks are being extended to them by the patients who've been healed. It's their verdict that matters overall.
Yes, it does. That's it. It's the patient that matters.
The point. It's people who've not walked in, struggled in, and the man sat there and he walked back out 500 yards to his car, meters to his car. That's that's evidence. No drugs were used, no side effects have been caused, no damage done by our treatment to these patients. And the patients, those muscle building guys who really sense their bodies, their mind is their whole physique, are coming back for more. They know it's working. They don't know how, but they know it's working. Here's more. Want more of it? You know. That's the evidence. That's the proof that what we're doing is right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thanks for inventing this unbelievable energy medicine device. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Carol.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. And we're going to be coming on, and I'm going to be doing a lot more shows. The actual Powerpack show is every 2 weeks. And we're going to bring on, real people with real situations. But understand something.
Recording stopped.
Actually, I hope you know that aging is just displaced calcium. It's scar tissue. Most people don't understand that they create scar tissue because they haven't been able to master their mind. I mean, think about all the times that you pump out adrenaline and cortisol and histamine because you're fearful, you're stressed. You don't even know how to look after your own body. And I'm not talking about you and you. I'm talking about the majority of the population. They don't know how to eat, think, or drink. And that's the God's truth. I'm not putting them down. And the reality is, I'd be putting them down if I wasn't trying to give them an answer. I mean, you can go to my library free. It's the biggest self-help, self-love library in the world, and it's free. You need to get this. There's a master class in there called Reverse the Irreversible that I will prove to you that all of the drugs, the surgeries, the suffering, the pain, it's unnecessary. Go and watch the Reverse the Irreversible. And if you want to go and retrain your brain to become the master of your moment, to actually get yourself off the hook in the chokehold that you're unworthy and that you deserve unconditional love from yourself and respect from yourself, or you're not going to get it from anyone else, then go check out my Braveheart online emotional masterclass. For those of you who have always wanted to be a practitioner, okay, and you've always wanted to help people, but the reality is that you thought you had to go to school and you had to go to naturopathic college or some other college for 4 years. That's not true. You may not like what I have to say, but you know what? My practitioners will come, and they will come for 23 days like a whole life coach, a Wolf non-surgical. If they're women, they may take the 4-day pelvic course. So they're there for 27. They'll go home and open up a business. You know, you cannot tell me that I cannot do this. Nobody can. You know, I couldn't do this if they went home and they couldn't offer a money-back guarantee on their first treatment with everybody that walked through that I guarantee. They would not be able to do this if they couldn't offer a money-back guarantee on all their consultations. And remember something, what good is a consultation unless you're going to get lifetime support, which every master consultant, every New World practitioner gives you when they take my course. So look at, we're not that good? Well, how many other people give you lifetime support and give you a money-back guarantee? You need to understand that. You can think that this is a marketing tactic, but everybody out there, they deserve to be treated like a human being, which means that if you take money from them and you do a consult, then you need to help them grow with gentle baby loving steps each and every day so that they can find their authentic self. And eventually they'll break away. Everybody that we do perfect day consults and we allow them to call us as often as they want, they don't keep calling us, because everybody wants their sovereignty. Everybody wants their inner dependence. Everybody wants to know how they can strategize a day from the moment they rise till they close their eyes and be able to love themselves and to love others without hating. Because we hate ourselves, because we hate others, we're at war, not just with ourselves, with others. I am trying to create something different that nobody else has done. I'm creating practitioners all over the world. We are having people buy from us the Cellsonic and the Cardio Med Bed, or just the Cellsonic or the Cardio Med Bed, which we do complete training with. Nobody else does this. So when people tell me they think they know who I am, they don't know who I am. They don't know what I'm up to. They don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell you that the whole thing is BS. Okay? Most of the natural health out there, if it was working, then why are we in this mess? I'm not downing them. I'm not going to down the medical system. But until we do something different, we're never going to have different. And I'm bringing different. I'm bringing people that have always wanted to be practitioners. And they're the best body workers around. And they take a course for 12 days. A lot of them will come back 3 times to become a master trainer. But guess what? We'll give you a money back guarantee. So you can say whatever you want about my practitioners or about me. But guess what? We put our money where our mouth is. And that's the big deal. And understand something. You got to be brave. You got to stand in your power if you really want to help people. And you know what? Don't expect me to follow the herd of natural health practitioners, because guess what? We don't believe in detoxification. I'm the doc of detox, but guess what? If I gave you the perfect day on an emotional and physical level, you'd never have to do a deep detoxification again, emotionally or on any physical part of your body. We don't believe in that, but we'll do it with you. We'll teach you how to detoxify you physically and emotionally, but you'll get to the point, because you're a light energy, electrical magnetic being, that you will know how to hold the frequency. You'll know how to not to re-trigger a disease stage, getting cancer coming back. It's my second time. It's my third time. It's my fourth time. Well, stop telling the same story. Stop going to the same practitioners and become your own practitioner. The deal is with us, is that we want to take you from patient to practitioner. And guess what? That means your own practitioner. And then guess what? Supporting your family and feeling proud about it. How about that? How about the next time that somebody has a fever, like your child, or the next time that somebody feels sick, instead of you going, I don't know what to do, take some drugs, please. Please stop whining, complaining. How about you actually know how to do it? How about this? How about knowing that 95% of all illness comes from a dysfunctional large intestine? Because everybody's been programmed to be a garbage can. Okay? Understand, everybody thinks that this machine is so expensive. Yeah, guess what? A Cell Sonic is $125,000. And guess what? And this machine also gets paid off in about 9 months. And I can say that and I can prove it. Do you know why? Because people are tired of going somewhere where they go and they pay money, or they have to go every week, or they've got to keep going and they've been going for a year or two. Understand something. You pay for what you get for. A cardio med bed, that's $150,000 to $250,000, but I have a deal where I'm going into all the different hospitals in North America, and we're pulling out brand new cardio med beds that haven't been used. They're $150,000 to $250,000. I'm selling them for $35,000 to my practitioners. I hope you're getting this. And we give them a whole complete New World practitioner training. When they buy a Cell Sonic, they get a whole New World practitioner training. You know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. This is what people say. It costs too much. I don't have the time. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm tired of it. Don't care. Most of the population is going to not deserve any of this because they've been taught to dishonor, disrespect themselves. Take a look at them. Take a look at them. Most people at the age of 40 and 50 years old, they look like they swallowed a beach ball, for God's sakes. 85% of the population is overweight or obese. Half the population is going to have cancer. Half the population is going to have heart disease. 85% of the population is pre-diabetic. Do I need to keep going here? So understand something. When I see the medical system offer a money-back guarantee like we do, or any other natural health practitioner out there do that, okay, then I'll look at things. But right now, we are the ones that offer a money-back guarantee on your first treatment, whether it's Wolf non-surgical and it's a physical problem, where they said that you have to have surgery, you're bone on bone, which doesn't exist. That's a lie. And if we can't use a Cell Sonic, we can still prove it to you by going on calcium ion therapy, by getting non-surgical, by looking at the advanced water fasting, by cutting back on all the garbage foods that everybody eats, that everybody thinks is normal. Hey, how's your diet? Oh, my diet's great. Really? Really? Okay, really? I drank today, and you don't have to be like me, but I drank 2 quarts of fresh squeezed vegetable juice. I did a blender drink of strawberries and 2 raw eggs. That's it. And what am I going to do tonight? Well, we're actually going to we're going to have some brown rice with veggies, and we're going to have a salad. That's it. And I've been going all day. But I live on my nutraceuticals. I do everything that we tell people to do, I do. I'm not a fraud. Oh yeah, people think I'm a fraud. I don't deserve to be called a doctor, for God's sakes, because I didn't go through the regular channels. The reality is this. I love you anyway. But the reality is why don't we just keep on doing what we've always been doing, and we're always going to get what we've always got. Okay? I'm not going to do it. Stick around, because I've only begun to bring the thunder down. Okay? Because as long as I'm here, I will do everything I can to take every one of my brothers and sisters to the edge and tell them that they don't have to go over the cliff, that they are worth unconditional love for themselves, unconditional respect and honor. But how are we going to do that? Well, we have to reprogram our brains, because we have been taught that we're worthless and we're a piece of crap. Really? Do you ever see how people treat themselves? Do you ever see how people treat other people? Do you see how many people are going out there and hating people right now and picking a side? I'm never picking a side. Everybody's on my side. Meaning this, that I will show love to everyone, even the haters. I will show love to everyone. So let's just stop it, okay? If the stuff's not working, I'm not going to do it. If I find something better, I'm going to take that on. I hope you know that. That's who I am. And things are changing really fast in this business. And I'm going to do whatever I can to pivot and give it, to make sure that we give it to you, okay? I'll be coming on here quite a bit. I'm going to, because I don't start teaching my whole life coach certification courses again until January, where I'll be doing that at the beautiful Cala del Mar in Ixtapa, Mexico. And that's, I live in there, and I live in Florida. And then sometimes I live in Puerto Rico. You know, that's the way it is. You know, the reality is once January starts, I'll be traveling for 8 months around the world, going to different countries, different cities. You can check out all the trainings at braveheartnation.com or bhnuniversity.com. That's right. You can come to us and go, wow, I'd just like to learn your technique. And you could work your way all to becoming a doctorate of indigenous medicine or a doctorate in natural medicine. So doesn't that just piss you off? Really, it does some people, but the reality is we can do it, and we're going to do it. Because guess what? There's a lot of people out there that should be called doctors, and there's a lot of people out there that shouldn't be called doctors, and that's just my personal opinion. It's just an observation. So the reality is this. If you take nothing else away from this, take this away. That which created the universe has always unconditionally loved you. And do not expect it for other human beings because they've been programmed. You must love yourself and fill up your own heart and become your own practitioner, your own doctor. You must stand and have inner dependence for yourself. You must fill up your own heart and don't count on your loved ones, your friends, or anyone else to do it. We are going to go through one of the toughest tests in history in this go-around in the next 3 to 7 years. It all depends on the majority, and so far the majority are asleep, and you know they are. And God loved them anyway. We're not going to pick on them. And the reality is this, how can we pick on them? Because we'd be picking on ourselves. Because remember, at the end of the day, I don't care what color you are, what language you speak, we were all created by the same creator. And then you're going to tell me you know who that is? Well, I don't. I just know that I am humbled by it because I exist. And as long as I exist, I will be proud, I will speak loud, and I will tell everyone that they deserve abundance on all levels. I am love, I am healed, I am Braveheart. God bless.